Hey there. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead. I know this is coming as a shock to you. I might be the first one to break the story here. Nobody else has been talking about it, but it's true. And it's not good. And I'll talk to you about it real quick and what it means. So, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was a Supreme Court justice. She had a pretty good record. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was generally pretty good. The reason why this is so scary is because it puts Trump in a position to appoint another Supreme Court justice, meaning that there would be a decidedly 6-3 red blue split in the Supreme Court, presumably for quite a time to come, which is bad if you are a fan of decency or democracy or just the survival of the human race. Um, the real stir here has been that, and I know a lot of you already know this, but during the end of the Obama administration, they were looking to replace an empty Supreme Court seat. Obama, however, was met with significant resistance by the majority Republican Senate, who said that Obama was a lame duck president and should not be able to appoint a Supreme Court justice to the bench because he was on his last year of office. That essentially the upcoming election should be a moratorium on which party would get to appoint the upcoming Supreme Court justice. Now, there was no precedent for this anywhere in American history. Never before has a Supreme Court justice just been completely obstructed for a year of time on the idea that we should withhold until after a new presidential election. Now, obviously, let's be real here. The reason the majority Republican Senate did this isn't because they suddenly had some sort of deep moral question about the righteousness of a president appointing a Supreme Court justice towards the end of their final term. It was about them getting a shot at a conservative Supreme Court justice, which they ended up getting. They ended up getting, it seems, multiple because Trump won out over Hillary. And that's bad. Now, I want to talk to you about this really quickly because we can learn a lesson from this, and it's that the Republicans are right. They are better than the Democrats in one very specific way, and it is that they know how to wield power. You see, this Supreme Court seat means quite a bit. A 6-3 split Republican-Democrat in the Supreme Court would mean, well, a lot, including a very likely turnover of Roe versus Wade and a rollback of abortion rights in this country. That's just the beginning of it, though. I mean, any issue that could conceivably be brought to the Supreme Court, if you're wondering whether or not Trump is planning to appoint a impartial justice, keep in mind that of the list of 20 people he read out just a few days ago, among them were Tom Cotton and Ted Cruz. No, I'm not kidding. So we know which way this is going to go. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a second. Hold up. Whoa. Hold the phone, Vosh. Whoa, 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 whoa. The Republicans, they blocked a Supreme Court justice pick from President Obama for an entire year because it was towards the end of his term. We are a month and a half away from the upcoming election. Surely they are going to uphold their end of the deal and not allow for an appointment of a Supreme Court justice by Donald Trump until after the election, right? To which my answer is, are you fucking stupid? Do you really think they would do that? You really think the Republicans would do that? Would just cede power like that? What, just because? To keep their word? They don't give a shit. And Republican supporters don't give a shit either. And this is the reason why Republicans are in this respect better than Democrats. It's because they recognize there is no reward for abstemiousness. Let me explain to you how a democracy is supposed to work. See, you can checks and balances all you want. Great system, you know. But at the end of the day, there is no exchanging something, or you cannot replace the concept called forbearance. Forbearance is the idea that if you or your party are in power, you will not use that power to fuck over your political opponents the next time the elections roll over. So, for example, doing something like gerrymandering, that is not an exercise of forbearance. You're using your power to increase the likelihood of a future success. Republicans are great at this. Republicans have won, one popular vote out of the past 7 presidential elections? But we have the Electoral College to keep them in power. We have gerrymandering. We have a majority Republican Senate stonewalling President Obama's Supreme Court pick for a year, and then going on ahead with their own now. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell confirmed that he would be looking for a replacement for Ruth Bader Ginsburg within like 5 minutes of her dying, like immediately. And of course, everyone goes, all the libs, they come out with these clips of, for example, Senator Graham saying that if a Supreme Court justice needs to be picked during an election year for Trump, that they wouldn't go through with it. I believe there is one Republican senator currently who has said that she would be honoring the precedent set by Mitch McConnell with the Obama administration and not appointing a Supreme Court justice or not voting on a pick until after the election. But we'll see how that actually pans out. Mitch McConnell is pretty good at twisting the arm of the Republican Party. Without forbearance, we find ourselves in a remarkable position where the Democrats cede power for nothing other than a thin veneer of perceived moral superiority. This is the way things work for the Democrats, okay? Look at this. Here, look, it's a paint stream. Oh no, that's offline chat. Get him out of here. Go. Go. Stop. Get him out of here. Go team. Here's what the Democrats imagine, okay? So here is the circle of what is acceptable, all right? This is acceptable political behavior. And the Democrats keep within that circle. Democrats are not ones to toe that line. They are staying right on over here, okay? This is what they're doing, all right? Real nice and comfy, And the Republicans are doing shit all the way out here, okay? Like blocking a Supreme Court pick from President Obama for a year, and then like within 5 minutes of RBG dying going, yep, we're getting another one. All this shit out here. Donald Trump like calling random protesters terrorists if they get hurt by police, like mocking people who have died. They like whatever, saying that mail-in voting is a secret Hillary Clinton satanic George Soros cabal. They'll do whatever the fuck. And what Democrats believe, delusionally, is if they continue to stick within this circle, the outliers of the the Republican behavior will be pulled inwards. That Republicans are going to be, I don't know, impressed by their behavior. That they're going to be like, oh wow, you're right. I have forsaken the true nature of our democracy, but we have to pull into this acceptable behavior now. When I saw that the Democrats were put out a strongly worded condemnation of our bid for power, I had a change of heart, and now we're moving in here. That's not what's going to happen, okay? The thing is, there are actually two circles, okay? There's the circle of what is decent to do, and then there's the circle of what you can get away with. And that is the circle that Republicans try to toe the line on. Sometimes they even exceed it, and Trump will do something, and then the courts will smack him back down. But they are always pushing this line outwards. They are constantly doing everything they can. They will lie, they will cheat, they will backstab, they will violate the Constitution, they will brag about committing crimes and just assume that nobody cares. They will do anything they can, everything they can, all the time, forever, with no sense of regard for decency or the foundations of democracy or any of that bullshit. And you know what our reward is? Our being the Democratic Party, I guess, the other half of this push and pull? Nothing. The reward for abstemiousness is failure. That is the only thing you get. There's a myth that people push, mostly liberals, but sometimes I see leftists do this too, which is you don't want to normalize X behavior because if you do, what if the other party comes to power and they just do it against you? Like you don't want to do X because if you do X, they'll do X when they're in power, and you wouldn't like that, will you? To which my answer is, they're going to do X anyway, motherfucker. They're not going to stop doing it. They aren't going to look. If a Democrat does something out here, they'll cry and bitch about it. If a Democrat does something in here, they'll cry and bitch about it. It's like the whole what was the point of saying Bernie Sanders was too far left for the general when people are going to call Kamala Harris a Marxist anyway. They're saying Joe Biden is a tool of the Marxist left. Like they'll cry and have a hissy fit no matter what happens, no matter what we do, no matter what's done, no matter what boundaries we hold ourselves to. The reward for abstemiousness is failure, because while we're doing this, we're limiting ourselves. They're doing all this crazy shit and getting away with it. They don't give a fuck. If we do something out here, they're not going to go like, oh, well, now we could do something out here too. They're already doing it. They're already, the president is just openly preparing for a coup. We know what's going to happen. come election day. Should Joe Biden actually end up winning, based on the Electoral College, a lot of it is going to come from mail-in votes. Trump has been priming his audience, his voter base, whatever, they're the same thing to him, to believe that if Trump wins in the initial count of votes, but then later the trickle-in votes from mail-in ballots end up proving Joe Biden to be the winner, that this is a product of a conspiracy designed to oust him. There are going to be riots in the street. Trump will openly just signal to far-right conspiracy groups. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a fuck. The reward for abstemiousness is failure. By putting ourselves in this bubble, all we do is cede power to the worst people. And doing all this crazy shit out here, all this bigger bubble stuff, all the stuff Republicans do, it doesn't make us worse people. It's the price you pay for being effective in modern democracy. In America, at least. There are more functional democracies in the world. Several. Many, even. The price for abstemiousness is failure. I'll keep saying it over and over again. I don't give a fuck. We need to drill this lesson into the heads of the lefties, into the liberals who actually believe that's not the case. That we'll get some sort of higher reward for withholding. Is it so? Like, here's an example. Is it fair if we end up getting, say, for example, let's say the positions were reversed with the Senate. We had a Democrat majority Senate. Trump is in office. Trump has a year left to go, and the Democratic majority. Would it be fair of them to block a Supreme Court pick? Well, I don't think fairness comes into it because they did that shit to us. Do we just let them get away with it? There are clearly no consequences for this behavior. Do we just let them do it forever? And we're just tut-tutting in the background like, that's not how you do a democracy, Republicans. That's not how you do it. You're not doing it right. Meanwhile, like, the country burns because we've ceded everything to them. My principles are winning, personally. That's what I care about. And democracy and all the systems within democracy and all the procedures we have for maintaining checks and balances are broken right now. They are fucking ruined. And pretending they aren't, pretending that we still live in a functional democracy and only operating within the bounds of civil and decent behavior when we know damn well our opponents won't, isn't principled behavior. It's unless your principle is losing. That is the principle you are adhering to. You know, like, imagine you're in an anime. Okay, all right, are you ready for it? Imagine you're in an anime. Okay, so everything's wacky, and you're doing some sort of sprint race. Okay, you're racing against other people. You think it's going to be a nice, clean, fair race. You know, nothing but you, your feet, all the way to the finish line. You know, and then you hit go, and immediately somebody throws a banana peel down right in front of you. You go, you fucking dodge it, but somebody's already throwing fucking kunai in your direction, okay? Of course, it's an anime. Of course it's kunai. You know, you have to dodge them, and you're thinking, whoa, what's going on? Everybody but you has brought booby traps to this run. And by the way, if anybody other than you makes it to the end of the finish line first, they get to genocide half the population. You're the only person who doesn't do that if you get to the finish line. So what principles actually come out in front there? Who actually wins out there? Because I'll tell you, if you engage in abstemiousness, the general population is the one that loses. All right? So rest in peace, RBG, whatever. I guess we'll see what happens with the current pick. I think it's pretty likely Trump's able to fill it. There's a slim chance he won't be able to for a number of reasons. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. Maybe there will be Republican senators who will try to bid favor with potential for a Biden presidency by blocking the pick now to make them look like they're more impartial. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. Good luck. Hopefully we don't lose reproductive rights. Me, I'm born different. I don't have a uterus. So I'm not as worried. It's bad. I shouldn't even joke. Cut the video. Cut.